Beith is part of Torah. So maybe this is not halacha, but I like to do a bracha before I study even Aleph Beith. Baruch atah Hashem Eloheinu melech haolam asher kideshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al divrei Torah. Amen. So last week we learned the alphabet until Chet. So if you want to revise what happened last week, you just have to go back to the video. I uploaded all the videos on the channel. Today we're going to start learning from Tet. So this is Tet. Tet is the 9th alphabet. So its numerical value, oops, that's a wrong thing I'm using. Its numerical value is going to be 9. No. So the technology wants to do its own thing. So this is 9. That's a numerical value of 9. Tet is supposed to be a snake that's eating its own tail. I'm sure you've seen this in other religions, like Hinduism and Shantism and whatever. So Tet is eating its tail in this direction. It's a snake that's eating its tail towards this direction. So in Vietnam, the Vietnamese Buddhists, they have in their calendar what's called the month of Tet. Now, why do other religions have the Hebrew Aleph Beith? We're actually busy learning it from Rabbi Pinchas in Mashechet Avodah Zarah, that there cannot be Avodah Zarah in other nations unless they have a little bit of Torah. So maybe a Jew went astray and created all these other religions. That's usually the case. So some Jew went to the east and started introducing Aleph Beith and other Jewish precepts that led to Avodah Zarah. So that's why other religions have the Aleph Beith. So the Tet is written like this. Actually, this is the print version. Let me give you the cursive first. So the cursive is like this. It looks like a nose. And this is the print version of Tet. This is how you're going to see it in print. So the meaning of Tet is a snake. And this is very important in Hebrew because it brings us to the concept of the Nachash. The Nachash that appears in Genesis, and the Nachash that's made from bronze that appears in the Torah. I think it's Bamidbar. All right, so after the gematria of Tav is 9. So Tav doesn't have a combination, which means it doesn't have a milui. We could write it like this if we wanted to, and put a vav there. So, and then work out its gematria value. Vav is 6. So I've never really seen the gematria being worked out, but it would be 9 plus 6. All right, what is 9 plus 6? It's 15. That's very interesting. 15 can also be like this. It can be Yud plus Hey, and it gives us the name of Hashem. So I've never seen it done, but let me put this in context just so that we have something at least. So we say, actually, it's not Tav, it's Tet. Sorry, not Tav, Tet. It's the Tet. I've never seen it done. The reason why I've never seen it done because it would be like this. It would have to be like tet with a tav, or tet with another tet. And that would give us tav is 400, for example. 400 plus 9, that'd be 409. Or it could be 9 plus 9, which is 18. But I've never seen this milui before. So I'm going to leave it as 9. The gematria is 9. Question. Who has a question? Somebody had their hand up? No?
Yes, I did, Rabbi Hillel.
Mhm.
You started with a tav, a tet, and a vav, but then you erased it. And my question was
Yeah, I did.
that I got lost over there. I didn't know why you
Yeah.
put those two. Okay.
Yeah, ignore it because I made a mistake. I thought
Ah,
instead of saying tet, I said tav like this.
okay. Okay.
So I erased it because it was wrong.
Okay.
So I've never seen this combination before. So we just leave the gematria and the numerical value of tet as 9. There are other ways of doing gematria, but we are going to be using milui next week. When I finish the alphabet, we're going to stick with milui. So we're going to stick with simple values. So there's tet and its numerical value, which is 9. And obviously it means snake. It means 9 months of pregnancy. 9 months of pregnancy. It also means truth work. It also means truth. It means work. It also means your deeds. Uh, it also means an outcome or a result. I think its most important meaning is good, as in good, and then an outcome or a result. So when you're reading Torah, you're always focusing on the letters. Why would Moshe write like this? Why would Moshe write like that? The meaning is often in the letters. The next one is Yud or Yod. So some people say Yud with the Y-U-D. Some people say Yod with the Y-O-D. And the numerical value of Yod or Yod is 10. And we write Yod in this way. All right. So Yod is actually a hand. Who remembers in Toldot, no, Parshat, um, what's it called again? Yeah, Parshat Toldot. How was Esav born? Do you guys remember? How was Esav born? What happened when Esav came out?
He
When
was
Esav was
grabbing.
born,
Yeah, he was grabbing.
exactly.
He's grabbing his
So
brothers by the ankle.
exactly. So Yaakov was grabbing who? Esav by the ankle. So he was giving him what? He was giving him the Torah. So number 10 is the Torah as well. So Esav didn't want the Torah. Esav has always been running away from who? From Jacob. Always running away from Jacob, always running away from the Torah. To this day, the church is still running away from the Torah. So we understand it to be the Torah, the hand of God, right? So it's the Torah, it's the hand of Hashem. Also, it means a Jew. The numerical value for a Jew is 10. And that remains, that's Yud and Dalet. So that's 10 plus 4. So we have here, let me work it out here. We have Yud plus Dalet. Dalet is 4, Yud is 10. That gives us a gematria of 14. So the gematria is 14. So just to remember, 10 is the position in the alphabet. 9 and 10 are the position in alphabetical order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, etc. And then the combination of the letters that spell Yod is where we get the gematria, so that we are all on the same page. So what is the number 14? Number 14 is salvation. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Let's do this. So the number 14 is salvation, redemption, Hatzalah, which is rescue from physical harm. Does anybody remember what date or what day was the Pesach in Egypt? What day did we have to slaughter the Pesach lamb? Shalom, Rabbi Chimdia, and welcome. Shavua Tov.
Is it not the 14th?
Exactly. So it was the 14th of Nisan.
Nisan, yes.
Exactly. So we have the word deliverance. You see? So we have the word deliverance, and that is the 14th of Nisan. And just for interest's sake, what makes our Jewish salvation or redemption the correct one and not the version of the church is not just because JC or Yeshua is not in the Torah tradition. It's because if you want to talk about salvation, then it's the number 13. And the number 13 is not coded into the redemption that happened to us in Egypt. So if you know now you know the numerals, you can tell which one is a true religion. There's salvation and redemption. We saw it with our forefathers in Egypt. And if you want to go with the New Testament, then you get to number 13, which is not the correct number for salvation and redemption. I know it sounds complicated, but it'll click and get easier for you as we go along. Any questions so far? Okay, 1 second.
Oh, just thank you, guys, for.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. I just wanted to ask, how did we get to 14? Because I got lost a little bit. Yod is 10. So the 4, where does it come from? Thank you.
Okay, so for us to get a gematria, we have to spell out the word. So here's Yod, right? Or Yud. So there's Yud, but there's 2 syllables, Yud. There's 2 sounds. So it's Yud plus Dalet. Okay? It's 10 plus 4. It gives us 14. That's how we work out the gematria. So Yod is just a letter.
Every time you want a gematria of a word, we spell the word. We spell the letter.
Exactly. And then when we finish this alphabet, maybe in a week's time or 2 weeks, We're going to go into the Milui, which is how we actually spell it. But these are just the basics. Did that answer your question? Okay. Mama, you were saying something.
No, I was going to say, I never knew that Isav, sorry, I'm taking you back, but it's for me,
That's okay.
it's new that when Isav was born, by grabbing the foot of the brother,
Mhm.
he was giving him the Torah. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
And secondly, now I'm thinking when he gave his birthright to the brother, could it be the same reason that he didn't want to get involved in anything in this house? He wants to do his own things.
Yeah, so Esav, in terms of culture, he was born first. He was the firstborn.
Mm.
Because a little bit of Jacob showed first, and then his hand retracted. And then Esau was the first one who's actually born first. So the birthright was meant for Esau.
Mm.
But Esau loved idolatry, avodah zarah. He loved himself. He loved blood. He loved to take people's things. He liked to collect. He was a very materialistic, and you could call him a thief if you could. So he didn't care about his birthright even from the beginning, because if Esau cared about his birthright, he would have spent time in the tents with Shem, as Jacob did. But instead of spending time with Shem, he went and spent time on his own. In today's, in the language of the Torah, he was Adam Belial, which is what we are currently learning from Rabbi Pinchas. There's this person called Adam
Okay.
Belial.
Okay.
Adam Belial is someone who cannot be taught anything. You try and teach him, he doesn't listen. You try and give him spirituality, he doesn't listen. You try and bring him close to God, he wants to run away the opposite direction.
Thank you so much.
So he didn't want the Torah. He was running away from it from the day he was born.
Sure.
So that's why when us Israelites and Jews, when we were in the Adventist church, whenever we taught them the Torah, the non-Jews, they wanted to kick us out of the church for being, what did they call it? Not backsliders. They wanted to call us, what is the word again? Heretics. So even today, the church is still running away from the Torah. All right, so we have now the letter Kaf. This is the letter Kaf with a Q sound. This is Kaf with a K. This is Kaf. This is the K sound in English. But this is Kaf. It's a Q sound, and you have to make a guttural sound like it's not like chet, it's more like Kaf. And then this one, it has a QR sound, which is Kaf and K. These don't sound in modern day Israeli Hebrew, which is built on a Germanic accent. They call all of this Kaf. Everybody in Israel says this is Kaf, but it's not Kaf. It's actually Kaf. So it's important to go back to the biblical pronunciation for reading the Torah. So this is Kaf. You can pause the video later when you're watching it to listen to what I'm saying or how I'm pronouncing it. This is Kaf, and this one has a slight R to it, like K. And of course, at the end of the sentence, we have a Kaf Sofit. Oops. So a sofit is basically a flourish at the end of the sentence. So if kaf is in the beginning of the sentence, you write it like this, and then usually it's like this. In the middle of the sentence, it won't have a dagesh. Remember, this little dot over here is called a dagesh, and dagesh says that we must pronounce a word as if it was double the letter, like two kafs. Kaf. It's a deep sound. So sofit at the end of the sentence. This is how it would be written. So let's see if I've got. Yeah. So that's how it's written. And basically, as cursive, this is the print version here. The print version is like this. And this is the cursive over here. And kaf is the palm of the hand. Okay. So kaf is the palm of the hand. It's like somebody is making the letter C with the hand. That is the palm of the hand. So let me bring it down to its correct place here, so we don't get all confused. All right, so kaf is basically kaf plus pay, the letter pay. So it's 80 plus 20. Pay is 80 plus 20. Kaf, numerical value is 20. So the numerical value is 100, which gives us the palm of the hand, 100. But it's also related to completeness, perfection, and holiness. So God tells us, or the Torah tells us, that God rescued us from Egypt, and it says in Hebrew, Beyad Moshe. So this Beyad Moshe, this Torah that's written by Beyad Moshe, by Moses' hand, that gives us this 100, because it was written in completeness, perfection, and holiness. And it's the palm of the hand. So from the palm of God's hand, Moshe Rabbeinu wrote for us the Torah. So we have the gematria here of 100, which means all of this on the side. All right, so the next letter that we're going to deal with now is, let me just go down here, is Lamed. Lamed is going to be...
Excuse me. Rabbi
Yes.
Hillel, I'm sorry.
Yes, no problem.
Let's go back when you gave the numerical value of kaf. You spelled kaf in order to, what did you spell to get 80 plus 20?
Okay, I wrote kaf in the beginning, so the numerical value is 20. Let me just fix this quickly. I wrote kaf with a K, so to show you that there's a difference between kaf with a K and kaf. So this is kaf with a Q sound, okay? So kaf with a Q sound has a numerical value of 20, a numerical value of 20, and pay has a numerical value of 80. So here we have kaf with a Q plus pay. So kaf plus pay gives us these two numerical values, 820 for kaf, 80 for pay. Does it make sense?
No, I don't know why you write pay, but it's my brain. It's not you. I'll go back to the class
No.
later.
It's important because look at pay. So pay has a dagesh. So when pay has a dagesh, it's a P sound. When pay doesn't have a dagesh, it's an F sound.
Ah,
So it's not kap, it's kaf because it doesn't have a dagesh. Make sense?
oh, okay, I got it. Okay,
No
thank you. Thank you for your
problem.
patience. Okay.
Oh, no worries. All right, so now we're going to the letter lamed, which is written like this in cursive. Let me bring it down so that we don't get confused. So lamed is written like this in cursive, and then we write it like this in print. So this is lamed. And the numerical value of lamed is 30. All right. Now let's go find out what its numerical value is. So we have, let's write it down. So this is lamed with mem and dalet. So dalet is 4 plus mem is 40 plus lamed, which is 30. So lamed is 30, mem is 40, and dalet is 4. What's the gematria here? 74, right? So here's the gematria value, 74. This is the gematria value of lamed. And what does lamed mean? 74. It means to learn or to disciple, to make a disciple. So when we are sitting at yeshiva and we are listening to Rabbi Pinchas or Rabbi Zohar and he's teaching us, they take the character of lamed because lamed is also a walking stick, a walking stick. A walking stick. Why is it a walking stick? Because elders lead. They take the leadership. The zakenim, they take the leadership. Therefore, they need a walking stick, which is lamed. And the reason why in Africa, especially, all the old people that are traditional, they always had a walking stick because they had Hebrew Israelite responsibilities of being community leaders. So they always walked around with walking sticks. All right, so how many do we have? We have 1, 2, 3. Let's do one more before we go into our grammar. Let's do one more. Any questions so far? Let's do one more letter. Because I only want to give you 4 letters in every lesson so that we can learn it properly. Any questions?
No, Rabbi.
All right. No problem. Also, a disciple has also the same numerical, has the same gematria as 74. So a teacher, a leader, and the student have the gematria of 74. Now we get to the letter mem, all right? So which is written in interesting ways. So as cursive, we write mem like this. This is mem in cursive. In the beginning of the sentence, this is how we write mem. At the end of the sentence, this is how we write mem. So, oops. My technology is going ahead of me. So mem, this is mem sofit. Can somebody tell me why it's mem sofit? Oops. Can somebody tell me why it's mem sofit? Why do we call it sofit?
Because it's at the end of the sentence.
Right. So when we use mem at the end of the sentence, we use a sofit. And this is mem sofit over here. And the numerical value is 40. And this is how we write mem in print form. And in print form, this is mem sofit. It's a box with a tail at the top. No, man. I'm using a drawing tablet, so it's not meant for teaching. It's meant for people who want to design things. So it gives me all these squares that I don't want. So this is mem. This is mem sofit in cursive, and this is mem in cursive. In print, this is mem at the beginning of the sentence, and mem sofit at the end of the sentence. I'm just repeating it for redundancy. So if you write in cursive, this is mem at the end of the sentence. It's important to learn the cursive because in everyday life in Israel, you're going to see cursive being used for business and other things. So mem is 40. So how do we write mem? We write mem like this. If I had to spell it, it will be like this. Mem. And we cannot say 40 plus 40 because it's the same letter. So we leave the gematria of mem without working it out. We just leave it as 40. There we are, plain and simple. And what does mem mean? It means gestation, the period of pregnancy, right? When a woman's pregnant, that's gestation. 39 weeks. On the 40th week, the baby is born. It also means water, which is mine. It means water, and also, let's see. It also means Mashiach. Mashiach's numerical value, gematria, is 40 as well. All right, any questions with the Aleph Beith? We're going to continue with that next week, but not now. We've done our four letters for today. Any questions?
I do.
Uh-huh.
You said that we cannot have the numerical value 40 and 40 when we spell mem.
Yeah.
And why not? If we eliminate the 0, it's 4 plus 4, 8. I just want to know the logic of it when you do gematria.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not too sure, but I think it's because when we do gematria, for example, if I write the word Aleph Beith, I'm just making an example. I'm not saying it's like this. So if I write Aleph Beith, when I'm doing the Milui, which is looking for clues, I'm always looking at the first to see if there's a connection, the first letters of the words, if there's a connection, right? Here you can see the letters are not the same. It's Aleph and Beith, so I have to calculate. But if I have mem and another mem, it becomes redundant. It's the same thing. You see?
Okay.
So for now, this is the explanation.
You will teach us later how to do the gematria and how to look for the shoresh and things like that?
Exactly. So for now, you just have to concentrate on the values. You actually have to memorize all these values and their meaning, because this is how you're going to understand the Chumash, the Bible. So for now, it's just basics. And then When I finish the Aleph Beith in 2 weeks, then we're gonna go into the Milui, the different ways of working out gematria. Funega, you wanted to say something? You wanted to do one more letter?
We've done 5.
Oh, we've done 5 today. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, we've done 4. We've done 1. Actually, we've done 5. Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good. We've done 5. Then we'll continue these next week. Now we're gonna go into the grammar itself, into the textbook. 1 second. I just want to change my screens. And then also, when we have finished the Aleph Beith, learning it and learning the basics of it, I'm going to introduce Sefer Yetzirah, which are the basics of Kabbalah, and why we have to know all of this. So as you are learning the alphabet and the grammar, I'm going to teach you the basics of Kabbalah, so you know exactly which letters God used to create what in the universe. So it's not just a language lesson, it's going to tie in with the Torah as well. It's going to become one big web of Torah, and not just the Aleph Beith. All right, so I'm sharing my whole screen now, and you should be able to see this. Can you see lesson 2 on the board? All right.
Yes.
So a quick revision. Last week, we learned the word me'od towards the end. Me'od means very or a lot. So let me actually close this and see if I can refresh this one, because if you want to see this, now you'll be able to see it on the video. So we have the word me'od. Mama, can you spell this word for me? What letters have I used here? Make sure your microphone's on.
It's gone.
Now you can see it now.
I can see now.
Mhm.
Is
What
this
else? Can you spell this word
Mem.
for me?
This one is mem, isn't it?
Mem.
And then what did you say there?
Actually, I think it's not. I think I'm spelling it wrong. It's got an Aleph. I was wondering. Yeah, it's got an Aleph. I beg your pardon.
Okay.
I was wondering why it's reading very funny.
I know. I think I can
Hold on.
only remember the mem.
Hold on. Okay, my eraser doesn't want to respond. Let's do it again here. So I just want you to spell it. That's all. Mem is correct. And this one?
I don't think I remember now.
That's
Sorry.
Aleph. That's the first letter.
Which one? The one
This-
in the
Middle. Yeah.
Okay.
Mem. The one in the middle is what?
Oh, that is Aleph, yes. The middle one is Aleph, I know.
The last one?
And then the last one is the test.
Nope.
I'm sorry.
That's Dalit.
Oh, damn it. Ish.
Yep. No, that's fine. Me'od. Me'od. So it tells you it's a Dalit. Me'od. So if somebody says, Tov Me'od in class, the teacher says, Tov Me'od, it just means very good or excellent or that's great. Tov Me'od. Here we have some examples of Tov Me'od. Tov meaning good, because we're doing adjectives as well. Tov means good, it's an adjective. Katon is masculine, it means small. Katon. Katon means small. So you can say, for example, you can say har katon. Let's see if I've spelled this correctly. Yeah, it doesn't have a vav. So har katon with a nun sofit. So this letter here is nun. Okay. At the end of the sentence, nun is long like this. So this is a nun sofit because it's at the end of the sentence. That's why it's like this. Katon. Har katon means a small bull. A small bull, par katon. So you guys know that tov means good. That's one adjective. Tov means good. Katon is the second adjective. It means small. Let's go look at the textbook again. We have some examples of katon me'od, which means very small. Me'od means very. So katon me'od, very small. Tov me'od, very good. And of course, we have to pay attention to the spelling. Small is kaf. This is kaf. This is tet. This is nun. Tov is tet. Vav, beit. Me'od is mem. Aleph, dalet. That's quite straightforward. Now we're going to be talking about the plural of demonstrative pronouns, which is the word these. If you remember, this is ze. Ze is this, right? Over here. Ze. Now we're talking about these, which is plural. This is singular, but these is plural. And the word we use is elle. 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 And here's something to note with elle. So we have Aleph. Let me just double check my spelling. So elle has a dagesh over here. The dagesh means it's a deep sound. We pretend as if it was double lamed. So it's not elle, it's elle, 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 which emphasizes these, elle, these. Singular is ze, ze. But ze doesn't have a dagesh, so it's a light sound. Ze. But these, elle, it has an L, a deep sound, which means I'm pointing to these oranges, right? So we have a singular masculine, which is ze. The feminine is zot. If it's a female, it's zot. Zot isha. She's a woman, or this is a woman. Zot isha. This is a woman. The plural of these women or these men that are standing here, we say elle. These women, elle hanashim, which means these women, or elle nashim, meaning these men. So elle means these. So the only way to learn this is to memorize it. So when you learn a word in Hebrew, you must learn its construct. Construct means the spelling, okay? Because in Hebrew, the construct of Hebrew words is usually 3 letters. 3 letters, that's the Hebrew construct of every word or verb. Actually, specifically, verbs, because we don't know what they're talking about until we see the three letters of a verb. For example, of this is halach. Halach means to walk. From to walk, we get the word, for example, the word lech, from when God says to Abraham, lech lecha. So we have lech, which is lamed chet. Here's the lamed chet in the construct, lech, which means to walk. So the Hebrew verbs, they'll always give you three letters to give you an idea, a clue of what they're talking about. This is what is meant by a construct. So you can write exactly the same words in Hebrew, but they have a different spelling or a different meaning. The only way to understand the meaning is to understand the construct of the word. Again, if you want to go over this, you're going to be able to watch the video from this afternoon. I'm going to post it, and then you can watch it again. Now, in the textbook, we continue. And it tells us a lot of things. You can read that on your own. So let's go look at some examples. Let's go and see how your reading is like. Rabbi Chimdia, could you read this word for me? Just make sure your mic's on. Rabbi Chimdia, is your microphone on? Okay, anybody can go. So, yeah, it's Elle. With a dagesh, what does it mean?
Double sound.
A deep sound, a double sound. Elle. Elle. Exactly. Because without the sound, we don't know what they are referring to. So we know that they're referring to these specifically. So we have Elle. Good. That was a trick question. So we have Elle here. Elle susim. Elle susim. So now we have an unintended letter on Aleph Beith, which is the letter Samech. This is Samech. Samech in English is the S sound. So the textbook tells us, Elem Susim. What does Sus mean, first of all? It's written like this. Sus is a horse. So now your vocabulary is getting bigger. Sus is a horse. Elle Susim is a plural. Elle Susim, which means they or these are horses. These are horses. Here's an opportunity to spell. There's an opportunity to spell again. Anybody want to spell for us the word susim? Anybody want to spell and tell us which letters are these? What letter is this?
Shalom, shalom, Rabbeinu.
Shalom, Rabbi.
Samek Nun, Samek Yud Mem.
All right, Samech Vav, Samech Yud. What kind of mem is this, Rabbeinu? What kind of mem is this?
Mem Sofit, Mem Sofit.
Thank you very much. So we have Samech Vav with a when Vav has
With
a
the
dagesh,
dagesh.
exactly, it becomes U, right? So this is Vav. It's a V sound, but with a dagesh, it becomes U. So we have a U sound. Susim, susim, susim. And the U, because again it has a dagesh, it's a deep U sound. Susim, susim. So the dagesh has two functions here. It's the U sound, number one. Number two is emphasis. All right, so we have here, these are horses. Elle susim, hasusim, ha'elle. Now this one's different. Hasusim, ha'elle. It means these horses. Anybody want to try and read this sentence? Anybody want to try and read this sentence? Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna give it a try. So this ha susim and then ha ele.
Exactly. So when we say these are horses, we don't have the definite article ha. We only have ele susim, which is these are horses. Okay? It's a general statement that these are horses. For example, we can say in this classroom, these are students. It's a statement. But if we want to specifically say that these are the students of someone, then we introduce the definite article and we say ha talmidim, ha, etc. Here we want to say these horses specifically, then we say hasusim ha'ele, which means not just any horse, but these very specific horses that maybe are in the field, right? So we say hasusim ha'ele. The ha is emphasis. I want you to note that here we have the patach, right? Just the patach here, which is a light sound. Ha. Ha susim. Can you hear how I get there's two dagesh? Can you see the dagesh inside sus? Samech. There's a dagesh inside of samech. There's another dagesh inside of vav. So it becomes an u. So how do I read this? The ha is light. Ha su sim. Ha su sim. Because there's a dagesh, so double S and a u sound. Ha su sim. So in a natural way, I would say ha susim. So you can hear the emphasis on dagesh. And then you will notice when we go to ha ele, now the ha has got a kamat. It's much deeper. The ha is light over here. It's ha. Here is ha because it's a longer sound because of this kamat. So it goes ha ele. Ha ele. From the beginning, a light ha, ha susim, ha ele. Ha susim, ha ele. And Aleph, the air sound on Aleph is what? Is shallow. It's ha ele. But in le with those three dots, the sound is much deeper. Ha ele. Ha susim ha ele. That's the natural way of pronouncing it. I'm going to tell you later what these dots, or the names of these dots, I will tell you only next week in class. But I just want you to know that these 3 dots is an eh sound. The 2 dots is an eh sound. Eh, 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 eh. And this is ah. And this is ah. It's a shorter sound. Again, if you're watching this again, in the video, you can just rewind the video and go back to what I was just saying as pronunciation. All right, so now we move on to the plural forms. In English, when we have a plural in English, we put an S at the end, like students or customs, we put an S. In Hebrew, it's not that simple, of course. It says here, masculine nouns take the plural ending in im, and while feminine nouns take the plural ending in ot. Interesting. So if we write the job description of Hashem is Elohim. This is the job description of Hashem. It's not his name, of course. It's his job description. So we have Aleph, Lamed, Hey, Yud, Mem Sofit. All right? But something is very interesting about Hashem's job description or title. It ends in plural that is masculine, singular. Masculine, singular? Singular because Hashem is one, right? So Hashem is one, but his name is plural. It ends in a plural, im. This is the plural, im. It implies a lot of people, but in Hebrew, we don't assume that Elohim is a plural or a trinity. This is where Christians argue with us about the Trinity, and they say, well, Elohim is spelled with a plural at the end, so there's a Trinity. No, there's no Trinity. The reason why Elohim ends with an im is because of the construct. In this case, it's a construct for a plural, which is masculine singular. So don't get fooled or confused by a plural ending. It is still very, very singular. So Hashem is not 3, Hashem is Echad, so Elohim. All right, even though it's plural, it is singular, and that's because of the construct of the plural. Does it make sense, or are you guys confused?
Make it more clear.
Should I make it more clear?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm challenging you.
Yeah, because if you read Genesis 1 verse 1 and it says Bereshit bara Elohim, you can end up like in Christian theology, because you can say, well, God is not one, God is many. Right? So when we talk about a plural that is talking about a singular item, but also is masculine. Masculine means it's male, right? So when we are talking about males or something that's masculine, like we say to Hashem that he's our father in heaven, that makes Hashem masculine. And the construct for his name ends in im, which is masculine, and is masculine and also singular. So this im does not mean many. Okay, it does not mean many. All right. it's a construct of the word. All right, so it is a construct, which means in English, spelling. All right, let me give you an example. If my nickname, excuse me, 1 second, I just want to clear my throat a bit. So if my mother wants to give me a nickname, if my mother gives me a nickname and she calls me Bubbles because I'm overweight, if my mother calls me Bubbles as a nickname because she thinks I'm cute, is Bubbles singular or plural? So when I write it, it looks like a plural because it is an
Yes.
S, right? But is there one of me or many of me? Because Bubbles refers to me. Is the many of me or just one?
One.
All right. So what we read in Hebrew as a plural does not always mean that it's a plural. It is in fact a singular, but it looks like a plural because of the spelling or the construct. Make sense?
Yes. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Yeah, does make sense. Thank you for asking. I gained something as well. Thanks.
You were waiting for me to ask.
Exactly. So this is what we've just done is to simplify all of this. Let's look at some examples. So we have a word here. Does anybody want to read this word for us? What is this word here? What is this word? Anybody?
Is it not para?
Good. It's para. It has a dagesh, so it's p. And then it has a long A at the bottom. It's two long A sounds, so it's para. Exactly like you said it. Para. But if you say it in normal speech, in normal speed, when you're talking to someone, it would be like para. When you read it slowly, para. And what is this, which means a cow? And what is this word? Anybody want to read this word for us? Par. Because the A sound is short, the patach, but I'll teach you the names next week. Because it's a short A, it's par. Here, it's a female, so we make an emphasis on the female, para. It tells us it's not just any cow, but it's female. It's got special characteristics, para. But if it's a male or just a bull, we say par. So Hebrew is not about the letters you see or the sounds, but also it gives you characteristics of what you're talking about. You see? So when we go to the plural of para, it gives us parot. This ot in red, it's a plural construct of something that's female. Something feminine or female, this is the plural construct, parot. In this case, there are many cows, so we have parot. If we're studying the Mishnah, we don't say the Mishnahs, we say the Mishnayot, because Mishnah is a feminine or a female word. Mishnayot is feminine. So parot is also feminine. And then we have bulls, parim. This is the plural of bulls, parim. Unlike Elohim, this is not only just a construct, but it means bulls because we're the plural of S. Now we mean to tell you that there's a lot of bulls. There's more than one bull, so it's parim. So im is both a construct and also a plural. You understand? So one bull is par, more than one bull is parim. Parim. I want you to see the construct is the spelling as well. Par is spelled with a short a sound with the kamats, but here you have the full patach. So here you have a deep a sound. Parim. If it's one, it's just par. Par. Can you hear it? And then when it's a lot, parim. So the sound goes down because of the dagesh, it goes deep, but also because of the long A at the bottom. Parim. All right, which means, whoa, it's not just one, it's a lot. So the sound parim, it tells us, please take notice that it's not just one bull, but it's a lot of bulls. All right. So when you are reading the Torah and you're pronouncing the words correctly, you will start to hear music in the Torah. And when you hear this music, it's telling us that something is happening. Like verse 2 of Bereshit 1, verse 2 begins with the words, how does it say? Ha'eretz haita tohu vavohu. Ha'eretz haita tohu vavohu. That tohu vavohu is a very, very interesting musical sound, which means there was a violent explosion that created the universe and all the planets and the stars that we see. So when the scientists tell us that there was a Big Bang or talk about a Big Bang theory, they're actually speaking the language of Torah. That's why science and Torah should go together, with the Torah as the boss or the patron of science. The two don't kick each other, they go together. Like in verse 2. Ha'eretz haita tohu vavohu. It's speaking of a violent explosion or chaos in the universe, which created these wonderful things that we see through the telescope. Now we have parim as a plural. Now we have a big bull. We are back to, this is plural. Now we are back to adjectives. A big cow. Anybody want to read a big cow for us? What does it say here? Anybody want to try and read this?
Okay, I'm going to attempt. It's para gadola.
Okay, that was close.
Okay.
Can you see these two dots underneath the gimel? Those two dots underneath the gimel? Those two dots are very naughty because they are making us to change the way we pronounce gimel. So I want to show you here. It says here, par gadol. Par gadol. So the R is short in par, but the par is emphasis. Par gadol. So gadol, it changes when we apply the adjective. Those two dots change ga to ge, an S sound. Par gedolah.
A big cow.
A big cow. So when you apply the adjective, it's not only the spelling, it's not only the pronunciation that changes, but also the spelling changes. And you have to notice these changes. Did you see how in the plural we had par, and then when we had, sorry, in the singular, one bull, we had par, and then here we have parim. So the pronunciation changed because of the long A and because of the dagesh. And now we have gadol, which is simple, but when we say a big cow, for example, a cow is feminine, okay? A cow is feminine, para. So gedol la is because it's a cow, it's feminine, okay? And also because we are adding an adjective, so we cannot pronounce the adjective the same way all the time. Can you see these little differences? So if it's male, it's a bull, it's par gadol, which is masculine, but because a para with a hey makes it feminine, para makes it feminine. It's a cow, and therefore the adjective must also be feminine and change from gadol, which is masculine, to feminine, gedola. Gedola. Does it make sense?
Yes.
All right. And then we have here big bulls. Actually, let's go to big cows first. Actually, let's start with the masculine. It's always easier. Big bulls. Now, it's talking about a number of bulls, more than one. It says parim, parim, gedolim. One bull is gadol. Gadol means big, but because it's many bulls, so we add the plural im, parim, and because we added im, the gimel again changes. It's not gadol anymore, but now it's gedolim. Parim, gedolim. Parim, gedolim. Because of the dagesh in gamal or gimel, it's a deep sound. Parim, gedolim. But look at how the plural S in English changes the spelling or the pronunciation and the spelling of Gimel in Gedoli or in Gadol. Can you see these changes? All right, any questions? We're going to end here today and we'll continue with irregular plurals next week. Does anybody have a question? Okay, so here's a takeaway from this. Ot is feminine, plural. If you see ot, it is feminine, plural. When you see im, it is masculine, plural. Somebody's hand is up.
Okay, I wanted you to read big house for me.
Big house.
Big house.
So big cows is like this. Parot gedolot. Parot gedolot. So if something is feminine, plural, parot, it will also, the adjective will also end in ot. Parot gedolot. If it's feminine, sorry, if it's masculine, it ends in im. Parim gedolim. In the scriptures, there's an expression that says Maim Rabim, which means many waters. The voice of Hashem spread or fell upon many waters. Maim Rabim. If it's masculine, im at the end for plural, the adjective will also inherit the im. But if the plural was feminine with ot, it will also inherit, the adjective will also inherit the plural ot, which is feminine. Alrighty. I hope you didn't get bored. I hope this helped a little bit.
Yes. Can I ask you something?
Sure.
At the previous class, I didn't take it. I didn't know that we already had one.
Yeah.
What is the formula to recognize that a word in Hebrew is feminine and or masculine?
Okay. So the easiest way to answer your question is the hey, the letter hey. The
Mhm.
letter hey always tells us at the end of the noun that it is feminine. If it ends with a hey,
Mhm.
it is usually feminine. If it doesn't
So I
end
don't
with
look
a
at the
hey,
beginning. Mhm.
so specifically a noun, okay? So you must think about a noun
Okay.
specifically. If the
Mhm.
noun ends with a hey, with an a sound like ah, then we know it is patach, and then hey, we know it is feminine. Okay. If it doesn't end with a patach and a hey, we know it is masculine.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
No problem. An example of this is Torah. If you write out the Torah, it ends with the ah sound, which is patach and hey. But we'll go deep into that as the textbook takes us deep. So next week we're going to start learning the vowel sounds. The vowel sounds are a, e, o, u, and there are different variants. And then we're going to do a little bit of Aleph, Beith, and Gematria again. And then we're going to go into the grammar like we did today. All right.
Thank you very
I
much.
see. No worries. Thank you for. You're very welcome. Thank you for taking part. I hope it's helping everybody, and we'll see you later. Shavuot Tov.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you. Blessed day.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.